In 1953, a psychiatrist at McGill University began an experiment. He placed volunteers in sensory deprivation chambers, then dosed them with LSD. The goal, to fragment the mind, to unravel the foundations of identity and rebuild it. This was MK Ultra. It failed, or rather it evolved. Today, the same techniques operate at scale, not in laboratories, in your pocket. The handler is not a man in a white coat, it's an algorithm. MK Ultra began in 1953, initiated by the CIA's deputy director, Alan Dulles. The official justification: American prisoners of war in Korea were being brainwashed by communist captors. The real objective: develop mind control capabilities. The CIA didn't want to understand how minds break. They wanted to break minds on demand. The program ran for 2 decades at over 80 institutions. Universities like Stanford, MIT, Cornell, hospitals, prisons. They chose vulnerable subjects: psychiatric patients, prisoners, sex workers, people without advocates, people without lawyers. Donald Ewan Cameron, McGill University. His work was so damaging that when MK Ultra was partially declassified in 1975, lawmakers were horrified. But here's the critical detail: Cameron's techniques were never fully exposed publicly. His methods: sensory deprivation, repetitive messaging, emotional manipulation, they had a future. They just moved locations. While MK Ultra developed mind control in the laboratory, another CIA operation was engineering it through mass media. Operation Mockingbird. The agency began placing covert operatives in newsrooms, publishing houses, and television networks. Their mandate: shape public perception of reality itself. The CIA didn't need to ban publications. They didn't need to censor speech. They could simply control which stories were told, which voices were heard, and which realities were considered possible. By the 1970s, Operation Mockingbird was so embedded that journalists didn't even know they were cooperating. The CIA had become a ghost inside the machine. And when Mockingbird was exposed in 1974, the machinery didn't stop. It just evolved. This is where the story turns toward the present. In the 1970s and 1980s, the most brilliant minds in behavioral psychology and neuroscience were recruited directly from MK Ultra projects. Some came from government directly. Others were the proteges of MK Ultra researchers. They carried the knowledge. They understood how to manipulate human attention and emotion at scale. B.J. Fogg, he's a psychologist at Stanford who pioneered behavioral design. His work is called persuasive technology, but let's translate: it's operant conditioning. Stimulus, reward, repeat. This is Skinner's behaviorism applied to screens instead of pigeons. Fogg trained hundreds of engineers and designers. Some of his students went to Google, some to Facebook, some to Apple. They carried with them one core understanding: humans are not rational actors making free choices. Humans are creatures of stimulus and reward. They can be engineered. This is the crucial handoff. The government didn't need to run MK Ultra anymore. They had transferred the methodology to the private sector. The laboratory was closed. The experiment became the product, and every user became the subject. Facebook's 2014 emotional contagion study is instructive. Facebook's own researchers manipulated the news feeds of nearly 700,000 users without consent. Some users saw more positive content, others more negative. The researchers measured emotional response. They found what you'd expect. You can make people happy or sad by changing the content they see. The experiment was published in a peer-reviewed journal. Think about what happened here. A private corporation modified millions of people's emotional states in real time, measured the effect, and published the results. This would have been a criminal violation if a government did it. But a corporation? That's just business. The algorithm works like MK Ultra on a cellular level. Sensory deprivation chamber becomes information bubble. Repetitive messaging becomes the feed. Emotional manipulation becomes content targeting. Dopamine reward becomes the notification. You check your phone 96 times a day on average. That's every 10 minutes. You're not checking your phone, your phone is checking you. YouTube's algorithm has a particular property. It's designed to maximize watch time. The fastest way to maximize watch time is to serve increasingly extreme content. Someone watching a cooking video gets recommendations for cooking extremism. Someone watching a political video gets recommendations for political extremism. This isn't a bug, it's the function. Tristan Harris, a former design ethicist at Google, called this the attention economy. Tech companies are in the business of selling your attention to advertisers. The product is you, and the most profitable version of you is the addicted, enraged version. Harris speaks about persuasive technology and dark patterns. These are the design mechanisms built into every app. Infinite scroll, notifications, variable rewards, they are behavioral traps, and they are intentional. They were designed by PhD-level behavioral psychologists. The fact that you keep checking your phone isn't weakness. It's engineering. This is the thesis of Season 6, The Fracture. The system that was designed to control thought and behavior is fracturing because the control is now visible. People are waking up to the algorithm. They're seeing the handler, and the handler can't hide anymore. The phone was supposed to be a tool. Instead, it became a laboratory. And you're not using it, it's using you. Next episode, how this system is failing and what rises from the fracture.